Did you know that after turning 60 years old, one of the most hidden difficulties that steals vitality and confidence from millions of people is the progressive deterioration of blood flow to the intimate region, and that there is a solution as elementary as taking a simple tablespoon each morning that could revitalize that energy you thought you had lost definitively? Hello, I'm Dr. Selena Clarke, and today I want to talk to you about a topic that very many men over 60 experience in silence but rarely dare to discuss with anyone: the reduction of blood flow in the pelvic area. That inconvenience that impacts not only intimate life but also self esteem, daily energy, and complete well being. In this video, I will share with you 8 completely natural strategies based on scientific research on cardiovascular health and advanced nutrition that will allow you to recover that blood flow safely and durably. And the last recommendation will genuinely leave you amazed because you probably already have that ingredient stored in your pantry, but you never imagined it could represent such a profound change in your life. Before we start, give it a like, subscribe, and activate the bell because this channel is here to improve your life and your health now. Yes, let's begin. The first thing you need to understand is something essential that practically no one explains about blood circulation and vascular functioning after reaching 60 years of age. With the passage of time, our blood vessel system undergoes natural structural transformations that modify its ability to expand and contract effectively. The arteries lose their original flexibility. The vascular walls cease to be as elastic as before, and the production of nitric oxide, that fundamental substance that allows blood vessels to distend and permit greater passage of blood, experiences a dramatic drop. This phenomenon doesn't arise suddenly, but rather advances in a slow and silent manner, affecting mainly the finest arteries of the organism, especially those that nourish the pelvic region. What many people fail to understand is that when complications arise in intimacy after 60, the root of the matter doesn't necessarily lie in hormonal imbalances, nor in emotional factors, but rather in the vast majority of situations. It originates in a circulatory deficit that can be corrected if managed appropriately. The excellent news is that our organism possesses a surprising ability for renewal and compensation, and there are natural methods that can reverse a good part of this vascular deterioration. If practiced with consistency and wisdom, stay attentive because toward the end, I will reveal that morning component that has the potential to radically transform your current situation. The first fundamental concept to revitalize circulation in your intimate area consists in understanding the role of nitric oxide and the ways to enhance its production naturally. Nitric oxide represents possibly the most relevant substance for the health of your arteries that operates in your body. It functions as a natural arterial relaxant, sending messages to the muscle fibers of the vessel walls so they distend, facilitating the arteries to dilate and permit greater blood volume toward all tissues, including naturally the pelvic region. After 60, the natural production of nitric oxide can drop between 40 and 50%, which explains a large quantity of the circulatory problems that emerge in this vital phase. But here comes the fascinating part. There are completely organic ways to boost the production of nitric oxide through what you eat, how you move, and certain behavior patterns. Vegetables rich in organic nitrates such as beetroot, intense green leaves, celery, and Swiss chard deliver the basic elements that your organism requires to manufacture nitric oxide. When you ingest these vegetables, especially on an empty stomach or during the first hours of the day, your body transforms them into nitrites and subsequently into nitric oxide, triggering an arterial expansion mechanism that can last for multiple hours. Additionally, physical activity, particularly moderate aerobic movement and strength exercises, directly boost the production of nitric oxide by increasing blood flow and generating what scientists call friction stress on arterial walls, a signal that incites the cells of the internal lining to manufacture more of this essential molecule. The key lies in regularity. Given that nitric oxide has a very limited duration in the organism, so you need to stimulate its production habitually to maintain your arteries flexible and responsive. Later, you will discover the most valuable advice of all, so don't abandon this video. The second crucial aspect you must master to revitalize pelvic circulation is understanding the determining role played by endothelium health, that internal coating of blood vessels that acts as an intelligent membrane between your blood and your tissues. The endothelium is not simply an inert layer of cells that lines your arteries, but an active and complex system that regulates vascular tension, manages inflammation, prevents thrombus formation, and releases expanding substances like nitric oxide. When the endothelium is deteriorated or functions incorrectly, the entire circulatory apparatus is compromised, and this is precisely what occurs progressively with the years if we don't adopt preventive strategies. Endothelial dysfunction frequently represents the first step toward more serious vascular complications, and it becomes evident initially in the most diminutive arteries of the body, which are exactly those that irrigate the pelvic area. To protect and regenerate your endothelium, you need to concentrate on minimizing chronic inflammation because inflammation constitutes the principal adversary of vascular health foods with anti-inflammatory properties loaded with antioxidants such as berries, nuts, bluefish loaded with omega-3 extra virgin olive oil, and seasonings like turmeric provide bioactive compounds that safeguard endothelial cells from oxidative damage. It's also fundamental to avoid foods that promote inflammation, such as processed sugars, refined vegetable oils, trans fats, and ultra-processed products, because these literally intoxicate your endothelium and accelerate its degeneration. Elevated blood sugar is particularly harmful to the endothelium because it triggers a process called glycation where glucose molecules adhere to the proteins of arterial walls and make them rigid and inflexible. For this reason, keeping blood sugar levels controlled is not only relevant for preventing diabetes, but is absolutely essential for preserving healthy circulation in all areas of the body, especially in those that depend on small and delicate arteries. Wait, because the best is yet to come and will completely change your perspective before revealing the third habit. If you've made it this far, write in the comments the word strength or a short phrase of maximum 3 words, like I care for my health. That way I'll know who is part of this community, and remember to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. The third component you must integrate to completely revitalize circulation in the intimate area is the fundamental importance of directed physical exercise and how certain movement patterns have a direct and immediate influence on pelvic blood flow. I'm not referring to general physical activity nor to occasional movement, but to specific training that particularly stimulates circulation in the lower part of the body. Moderate cardiovascular exercise, such as walking vigorously for 30 to 40 minutes daily, has an immediate impact on the production of nitric oxide and on the expansion of blood vessels. But there are exercise modalities even more effective for optimizing pelvic circulation resistance exercises that involve the large muscles of the lower extremities and the central area of the body, such as deep squats, lunges, hip raises, and exercises with your own body weight. Not only strengthen the musculature, but also intensely stimulate blood flow toward the pelvis during and after training. This increase in blood flow is not momentary, but rather over the course of time, improves the vascular capacity of the area by stimulating the creation of new capillaries, a phenomenon called angiogenesis. Additionally, there is a particular type of exercise that has shown to have exceptional benefits for pelvic vascular function, pelvic floor exercises, also known as Kegel exercises. Although traditionally they're more linked with feminine health, these exercises are equally relevant for men because they strengthen the muscles that surround the base of the male organ and optimize control over blood flow in the area. To execute them correctly, you need to identify the pelvic floor muscles, which are those you would activate if you tried to interrupt urine flow midway. Once identified, the exercise consists of contracting these muscles for 5 to 10 seconds, then relaxing completely for the same period, and repeating the cycle between 10 and 20 times 2 or 3 times daily. Regularity is fundamental because these muscles, like any other musculature of the body, require habitual training to strengthen and function optimally. Numerous people report considerable improvements in vascular function and in firmness after only 4 to 6 weeks of constant practice of these exercises. The fourth point will completely change your understanding about this topic. The fourth essential element you must optimize to recover your circulatory vitality is the elevation of your testosterone levels naturally, because although the main inconvenience is vascular, testosterone plays a crucial role in maintaining blood vessel health and in the production of nitric oxide. After 60 years, testosterone levels in men naturally decline approximately 1 to 2% each year. And this hormonal decrease not only affects desire and energy, but also has a direct influence on vascular health. Testosterone contributes to maintaining the elasticity of blood vessels, promotes the production of nitric oxide, and reduces inflammation in the endothelium. When testosterone levels are insufficient, the entire vascular system becomes less efficient, especially in the pelvic area. The excellent news is that there are extremely effective natural strategies to preserve healthy testosterone levels without the need for hormonal replacement therapies. The first step is to guarantee an appropriate intake of healthy fats because testosterone is synthesized from cholesterol, and you need quality fats in your diet so your body can manufacture this hormone. Ideal sources include avocado nuts, such as walnuts and almonds, chia and flax seeds, extra virgin olive oil, and fatty fish, such as salmon and sardines. It's also fundamental to optimize your zinc levels, an essential mineral for testosterone production found in foods such as oysters, pumpkin seeds, grass-fed beef, and organic eggs. Magnesium is another crucial mineral that many men over 60 are deficient in, and that plays a relevant role in hormonal regulation. You find it in dark, green, leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, and pure cocoa. Without sugar resistance, exercise is one of the most potent natural boosters of testosterone production, especially compound exercises that involve multiple large muscle groups simultaneously. Quality sleep is equally crucial because most testosterone production happens during the deep phases of sleep. So sleeping between 7 and 8 hours of restorative sleep each night is absolutely essential. Finally, reducing chronic stress is vital because elevated cortisol, the stress hormone, directly suppresses testosterone production, creating a vicious circle that affects both your hormonal health and your vascular health. Number 5 will really surprise you. So stay attentive. The fifth transformative component that will completely modify your understanding about pelvic circulation is the extraordinary power of certain specific foods that act as true natural medicines for the vascular system. And here is where we arrive at that morning ingredient I spoke about at the beginning, but first let me explain the science behind these vascular superfoods. There are certain plant compounds called flavonoids that possess an extraordinary capacity to optimize endothelial function, increase the production of nitric oxide, and improve the elasticity of blood vessels. The foods most loaded with these flavonoids include red and purple fruits such as blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and cherries, pure unprocessed cocoa, green tea, red grapes, and red wine in extreme moderation. But there is a particular group of foods that stands out above all when it comes to specifically improving circulation in the pelvic area, and they are those rich in L-arginine and L-citrulline, two amino acids that the body uses directly as precursors to manufacture nitric oxide. Watermelon is an exceptional source of L-citrulline, especially the white part close to the rind that we normally discard. Nuts, such as walnuts, almonds, and pistachios, are excellent sources of L-arginine that your body can take advantage of immediately. Raw garlic has extraordinary vasodilator properties thanks to a compound called allicin that is released when garlic is crushed or finely cut. Fresh ginger improves peripheral circulation and reduces vascular inflammation significantly. And now we arrive at the star ingredient, the one I mentioned at the beginning and that you can take each morning for surprising results: beetroot or beet juice. This vegetable is probably the most potent natural vasodilator that exists in nature available to you. 1 tablespoon of concentrated beetroot juice or a small glass of fresh juice in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, provides a concentrated dose of natural nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide in a matter of hours. Scientific research has shown that regular consumption of beetroot juice can reduce blood pressure, improve physical performance, and most relevant to our topic, significantly increase blood flow toward all areas of the body, including naturally the pelvic area. The key lies in consistency. Taking it each morning, ideally on an empty stomach or at least 30 minutes before breakfast, allows the nitrates to be absorbed efficiently and begin working in your vascular system from the first hours of the day. Some men report notable improvements in their vitality and function in as little as 2 to 3 weeks of regular and consistent consumption. Later, I will share with you a key piece of advice you won't want to miss, so continue until the end. Before revealing what's coming, give it a like and subscribe with the bell, because that way we can continue creating more videos for your health and well-being. The sixth fundamental factor you need to implement for optimal circulation in the intimate area is effective management of stress and anxiety, because chronic stress is one of the silent killers of vascular function that most people completely underestimate or completely ignore. When you find yourself under constant stress, your body remains in a state of activation of the sympathetic nervous system known as the fight or flight response that our ancestors needed to survive. In this prolonged state, Cortisol and adrenaline remain chronically elevated, which causes chronic constriction of peripheral blood vessels, including those that irrigate the pelvic area and that need to be relaxed to function correctly. This constriction not only reduces immediate blood flow, but over the passage of time damages the endothelium and promotes chronic vascular inflammation that deteriorates the entire system. Additionally, psychological stress has a direct influence on sexual function because it interferes with the hormonal and neurological cascade necessary for an adequate vascular response in the intimate moment. Performance anxiety, that anticipatory fear of not being able to function correctly, creates a vicious circle where the worry itself becomes the main problem, activating the sympathetic nervous system precisely when you need the parasympathetic system, the rest and repair one, to take control completely. To reverse this destructive pattern, you need to implement daily stress reduction practices that activate the parasympathetic nervous system consistently. Deep and conscious breathing is one of the most powerful and accessible tools you have available at any moment. Practicing diaphragmatic breathing for only 5 to 10 minutes twice a day can significantly reduce cortisol levels and improve vascular tone measurably. The technique is simple but powerful. Inhale deeply through the nose for 4 seconds, allowing your abdomen to expand completely. Hold the air for 4 seconds, then exhale slowly through the mouth for 6 to 8 seconds, counting mentally. This breathing pattern activates the vagus nerve, which is the principal nerve of the parasympathetic system, and sends signals of deep relaxation to the entire body, including the vascular system. Regular meditation, even just 10 minutes daily, has demonstrated in multiple scientific investigations that it reduces systemic inflammation, improves endothelial function, and increases the production of nitric oxide significantly. Physical exercise is also a potent stress reducer because it releases endorphins and reduces cortisol levels naturally. Activities such as yoga, tai chi, or even tranquil walks in nature have a profound calming effect on the nervous system that is immediately reflected in your vascular function. It's also crucial to directly address any anxiety or worry related to intimacy through open and honest communication with your partner, because emotional support and mutual understanding can eliminate much of the psychological pressure that interferes with physical function. Remember that mind and body are profoundly connected and interrelated, and a calm and confident mind is essential for a body that functions optimally in all aspects. The seventh transformative habit that completes your arsenal to revitalize pelvic circulation naturally is the optimization of your sleep and your circadian rhythms. Because during deep sleep is when most of the vascular repair, hormonal production, and cellular regeneration that your body needs occurs. The quality of your sleep has a direct and immediate influence on your vascular function the next day, without exception. During the deep phases of sleep, the body releases growth hormone, which is crucial for the repair and maintenance of tissues, including the vascular endothelium. It's also during sleep when the highest peaks of testosterone occur, especially during the REM phase, which is fundamental for hormonal function. Men who sleep less than 6 hours per night have significantly lower testosterone levels compared to those who sleep between 7 and 8 hours consistently. Additionally, chronic sleep deprivation increases systemic inflammation, chronically elevates cortisol, increases insulin resistance, and damages the endothelium, creating a completely unfavorable environment for healthy circulation in any part of the body. To optimize your sleep, you need to establish a consistent routine, going to bed and waking up at approximately the same time every day, even on weekends, to synchronize your natural circadian rhythms. Your bedroom should be cool, dark, and silent because total darkness is necessary for optimal production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep and that has important antioxidant properties. Avoid electronic screens at least 1 hour before going to bed because the blue light they emit suppresses melatonin production and significantly alters your natural circadian rhythms. A relaxation routine before sleeping, which can include light reading, deep breathing, or a warm bath with magnesium salts, prepares your body for deep and restorative sleep. It's also important to avoid heavy meals and alcohol close to bedtime because both interfere with sleep quality considerably. Alcohol, although it may make you fall asleep faster, initially fragments sleep and significantly reduces the REM phase, which is when most of the hormonal restoration you need occurs. Some natural supplements like magnesium taken 1 hour before going to bed can significantly improve sleep quality because it relaxes the nervous system and promotes the deep phases of sleep. Glycine, another natural amino acid, has also demonstrated improving sleep quality and the sensation of rest upon waking in scientific studies. Remember that sleep is not a luxury nor a waste of time, but a fundamental biological necessity for vascular, hormonal and general health that you cannot ignore. The eighth piece of advice that perfectly complements everything above is understanding the fundamental importance of adequate hydration for optimal circulation throughout your entire body. Blood is composed largely of water, approximately 90% of its volume, and when you're dehydrated even slightly, your blood becomes thicker and more viscous, which enormously hinders its flow through the smallest blood vessels, including those of the pelvic area that need constant flow. Make sure to drink at least 2 liters of pure water per day, distributed uniformly throughout the day instead of drinking large quantities all at once, and increase this amount if you do intense exercise or if you live in a hot climate where fluid loss is greater. A simple trick to know if you're well hydrated is to observe the color of your urine. It should be a very pale, yellow, almost transparent during most of the day. If it's dark or concentrated yellow, it's a clear signal that you need to drink more water immediately. Chronic dehydration not only affects circulation, but also reduces the production of nitric oxide, increases blood pressure, and makes your heart work harder to pump blood through your system. Also, consider eliminating or drastically reducing alcohol consumption and absolutely completely eliminating tobacco if you still smoke or vape. Alcohol, especially in moderate to high quantities, has direct negative effects on vascular and hormonal function that cannot be ignored. Although an occasional glass of red wine may have some cardiovascular benefits due to the antioxidants it contains, regular alcohol consumption interferes with testosterone production, damages the liver, which is fundamental for hormonal regulation and can cause progressive endothelial dysfunction. Tobacco is even more devastating because each cigarette immediately constricts blood vessels and damages the endothelium immediately and cumulatively with each inhalation. Smokers have significantly higher rates of vascular dysfunction because tobacco toxins literally poison the internal lining of arteries irreversibly. If you currently smoke, quitting this habit is probably the single most powerful intervention you can make to improve your pelvic circulation and your general health in all areas of your life. Let me share with you some additional strategies that will enhance everything you've learned up to this moment. First, pay serious attention to your body weight and specifically to your abdominal fat because excess, visceral fat, that which accumulates around the internal organs in the abdomen, is metabolically active and produces inflammatory compounds called cytokines that damage the endothelium and significantly promote insulin resistance. Abdominal obesity is directly related to low testosterone levels, endothelial dysfunction, and circulatory problems in multiple areas of the body. Maintaining a healthy weight and especially reducing abdominal fat through a combination of anti-inflammatory eating and regular exercise can have a transformative impact on your vascular function quickly. You don't need to be extremely thin nor have an athlete's body, but keeping your waist circumference below 95 centimeters is a healthy goal for most men. That protects your cardiovascular health. Second, seriously consider incorporating some natural supplements that have solid scientific evidence to support vascular health and nitric oxide production. Effectively, L-arginine and L-citrulline in supplement form can provide more concentrated doses of these nitric oxide precursor amino acids than what you get only from daily foods. French maritime pine bark extract known as pycnogenol has demonstrated in clinical studies to significantly improve endothelial function and circulation. Aged garlic extract has potent vasodilator properties without the unpleasant smell of fresh garlic. Omega-3 fatty acids, in the form of high-quality fish oil, reduce systemic inflammation and measurably improve vascular health. Vitamin D, which is actually a hormone with multiple functions, plays a crucial role in endothelial health, and many people over 60 have severe deficiency without knowing it. Getting a blood test to measure your vitamin D levels and supplementing if necessary can be a very valuable intervention that improves multiple aspects of your health. Of course, always consult with a health professional before beginning any supplementation, especially if you're taking prescription medications, because some supplements can interact with certain drugs significantly. Third, don't underestimate the power of regular sun exposure for the production of nitric oxide and vitamin D, naturally. Recent scientific studies have demonstrated that ultraviolet sunlight, when it falls on uncovered skin, stimulates the release of nitric oxide directly from the skin into the bloodstream, which produces an immediate and measurable vasodilator effect. Additionally, sun exposure is the most effective and natural way to produce vitamin D in adequate quantities. Try to expose yourself to morning sun or late afternoon when the rays are less intense and less harmful for at least 15 to 20 minutes per day with arms and legs uncovered if weather conditions permit. This simple practice can improve your mood, your vitamin D levels, and your vascular function simultaneously without any additional cost. Fourth, establish a morning routine that activates your circulation from the moment you wake up each day. This can include some gentle stretches of the entire body, deep breathing exercises to oxygenate your system, a contrast shower alternating cold and hot water that powerfully stimulates peripheral circulation, and of course, your tablespoon of beetroot juice or your glass of warm water with lemon, followed by your breakfast rich in vascular nutrients. This morning routine not only improves your physical circulation, but also establishes a positive and proactive tone for the entire day, consciously reinforcing your commitment to your health and your vitality. Fifth, I want to emphasize something crucial that is often overlooked in conversations about masculine health: the importance of maintaining a positive mental attitude and a healthy emotional connection with your partner or with yourself if you're alone at this moment. Sexual health and vitality are not only physical or mechanical functions, but are profoundly intertwined with your emotional well being, your self esteem, your sense of purpose, and your intimate connection with other human beings. Many men, after 60, experience internal or external pressure to perform in a certain way according to certain standards, and this pressure becomes anxiety that automatically sabotages physical function. It is fundamental to change this mentality toward one of acceptance, patience, and genuine self compassion. Understand that sexual vitality is only one of many aspects of a full and meaningful life, not the only one nor the most important one. When you reduce mental pressure, when you focus on pleasure, connection, and intimacy more than on mechanical performance, you paradoxically improve physical function because you reduce the activation of the sympathetic nervous system that blocks the necessary vascular response. Cultivate a loving and communicative relationship with your partner, where both can speak openly about their needs, desires, and concerns without unnecessary judgment or shame. This emotional intimacy is the solid foundation upon which physical intimacy naturally flourishes. Also remember that the changes we're discussing in this video are not instant magical solutions nor miraculous ones, but intelligent investments in your long-term health that require patience. It may take several weeks or even some months of consistent implementation of these habits before you see significant and sustained improvements. But when they occur, they will be sustainable and profound improvements, not just temporary patches that disappear quickly. The key is in daily consistency in making these habits part of your daily lifestyle, not something you do for a few days with enthusiasm, and then abandon when initial motivation diminishes. Think of your vascular health as a long-term bank account. Each healthy habit is a valuable deposit you make, and with the passage of time, those deposits accumulate into capital of health, vitality, and well-being that will serve you not only to improve your intimate function, but to enjoy an active, independent old age full of energy in all areas of your life. I perfectly understand that it can be overwhelming to try to implement all these changes at the same time simultaneously. So my professional recommendation is that you start with one or two habits, those that resonate most with you personally or those you feel will be easiest to incorporate into your current routine, and once they become a natural part of your daily routine, gradually add the others without pressuring yourself too much. For example, you could start simply by taking your tablespoon of beetroot juice each morning on an empty stomach and adding a vigorous 30-minute walk each day at a fixed time. Once those two habits are solidly established and feel natural, you could incorporate pelvic floor exercises and improve your conscious hydration. Then you could work on optimizing your sleep and reducing stress through breathing techniques. This progressive and gradual approach is much more effective and sustainable than trying to change everything at once, completely overwhelming yourself and ending up abandoning everything out of frustration or fatigue. It's also important that you monitor your progress consciously, but without obsessing or creating additional anxiety. Keep a simple journal where you note what habits you're implementing each day, how you feel physically and emotionally, what energy levels you have, what sleep quality you experience, and any change you notice in your physical function or your general well-being. This record will help you identify which strategies work best for you, specifically because each person is different and responds uniquely to the same interventions. What works extraordinarily well for one man may have a more modest effect on another, and that is completely normal and expected. The key is to experiment with patience. and find the combination of habits that optimizes your individual well-being in a personalized way. I also want to remind you that although these natural tips are powerful and effective for most people based on scientific evidence, they don't replace professional medical advice nor adequate diagnosis. If you experience persistent or severe difficulties with your circulation or intimate function that don't improve with these lifestyle changes, it's important that you consult with a specialist, doctor, or urologist to rule out any underlying medical condition that may require specific attention or medical treatment. Some vascular problems can be early signals of more serious conditions such as cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, or hormonal problems that need professional medical evaluation and treatment. The natural habits I've shared today are complementary and preventive and work extraordinarily well to optimize function that is diminished by normal aging and inadequate life habits. But they are not a substitute for medical attention when it is medically necessary. Finally, I want you to know that you are not alone in this in any way. Millions of men around the world experience these same challenges after 60 years, and the immense majority benefit enormously from the natural approaches we've discussed today in this video. Age doesn't have to mean the end of your vitality, your energy, or your intimate life in any form. With the correct knowledge, adequate habits, and consistency in their daily application, you can recover and maintain an exceptional quality of life in all areas, including this one that is so important for your well-being, your confidence, and your general happiness. Your body has an extraordinary capacity for healing and regeneration when you provide it with the correct tools, and those tools are in your hands right now. After watching this complete video, if you've made it this far, write champion in the comments to know who made it to the end. Don't forget to give it a like, so subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss future videos. Share this video with your family and friends because it can change their lives for the better. And now watch this video that appears on screen, because if you don't watch it, everything learned here won't serve you at all.